Welcome to part 3 of the Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 Let's Play. So now that we've dealt with the most infamous boss in the whole game, it is time to do the most pointless mission in the entire freaking game. So, what pointless mission do we have this time? Well, as soon as we stop looking at this conversation, yes, we have this guy right here. Of course, in order to progress plot, we have to get to New City. However, the doors are closed, and the guy won't let us in because, well, he's not the captain. Or at least, that's what he says he is. So, what do? Obviously, you talk to him more. Or you talk to the lieutenant, that's what he's called. You'll find him eventually, right? Hey, I'm gonna make you play a pointless game. So, there are 5 soldiers running around in this town. Talk to all of them. But to some soldiers may threaten or even try to trick you, so be careful, otherwise they might trick you. I completely ignored that dialogue box, whatever. If you figure out who the captain is, come back and talk to me. Cause you know, I am smart. Okay, so, the way you win this game, talk to the guy! Yeah, seriously, don't go to any other guy except him, because in actuality, he is the guard, he is the captain, and Soliana's security force at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. It's like, yeah, even though I tricked you, but please save our princess. I bet Sonic's thinking, yeah, well if you have any sort of confidence, maybe you should have helped me. Jesus Christ. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the most pointless town mission in the entire freaking game. Stay tuned for more. Alright. Hey, sorry for being so over the top there. So even though we just dealt with a really long loading screen, we had to deal with one. Thankfully I cut those out. Okay. With all that being said, we are now in New City, and well, if you thought Soliana, if you thought the actual Soliana town was way too empty and lifeless, whoa, no, you haven't seen this hub world yet. And there's a third hub world. Yes, there is a third hub world where it's gonna be so empty, so lifeless. I'm not even joking. What I'm trying to do here is that I'm actually trying to mess with the game's physics engine. I think this will work later on in the game, but if you spin the crate at the right spot, if you spin kick the crate on top of the crate at the right spot, for some reason the crate will go upwards. But for some reason that glitch wasn't working for me, so I don't want to waste any more time and move on. So we gotta head into the town warehouse. So let's go. Oh, we better meet up with Knuckles. But then suddenly, pointless enemies to fight. Yay! Okay. Oh, and for the record, here's another reason why I'm not focusing on any town missions. Usually town missions are the usual kill everything in sight kind of town mission. So I don't want to make it like Shadow the Hedgehog and make it so repetitive it's not even funny. So, of course, we have. I think here we're actually introduced to more enemies. I think we're introduced to the rocket launching enemies, but I think we were also introduced. No, actually, I think we were introduced to the bigger thugs later on. I think in Dusty Desert we were introduced to them. And this is where the whole homing attack in combat really gets tedious. Well, you're constantly homing attacking, and since it's so slightly delayed, it can get tedious fighting waves and waves and waves of enemies. He's like, oof, it's so ridiculous. And I think a certain level later on, I think the very last level in the game, that's where it gets really bad. I don't think it gets really bad there, but I don't know. Just the fact that you're killing every single enemy in the area. Well, to this game's credit, at least you're not searching the entire level for that one enemy you missed. Unlike in Shadow the Hedgehog, where you had to do that crap, and it's something I cannot stand. So yes, that was a very pointless mission, and for some reason the guards aren't doing anything about it. Eggman's robots, must be it must be a normal part of their day. Then again, I don't know what's stopping them from seizing mutant animals from roaming around the city. Well, then again, that's a point I don't really think about.
Knuckles.
I saw Eggman on the outskirts of the city. He wanted me to give this to you.
Sonic the Hedgehog. If you want me to return the princess, you must give me your Chaos Emerald. Meet me at my base in White Acropolis.
Huh. He's pretty cocky.
It's most definitely a trap. I don't think Eggman will honor his agreement.
I'm going.
Sonic?
Since Eggman went to the trouble of telling me where Elise is, I think I should thank him personally.
Okay, and now that we've met Knuckles, the entire Team Sonic team force is now aligned, or at least somewhat. I'll just leave them be. They'll pop back up next to me. Don't worry about it. Okay, so now we have to head to White Acropolis. If only I could move faster. There, because I can understand why people might not like the might not like, but and suddenly more random enemies to fight. Can you see how? Yeah, totally not repetitive and tedious at all. Now is it? Thankfully though, this one is shorter, and you don't have to. I don't have to worry about being. You see, that one was really short, so it wasn't as long as the one in the warehouse. And this game is so unfinished. Sonic isn't even positioned right at the results screen. You're gonna, if you actually did bother to play all the town missions, that's something you're gonna notice a lot.
That was incredible.
The fact that Sonic isn't really positioned correctly at the results screen. Alright, so with that pointless enemy wave out of the way.
Room here. Let's hurry to the White Acropolis.
Oh, cool. Silver medal. I'll talk about these later on. Okay, so with that being said, we are now in White Acropolis Zone, and this is one of the only times in Sonic 06 where I'll admit, when it comes to things that are butchered, well then again, a lot of things are butchered, but in terms of one I can sort of agree with a lot of people, the snowboarding. This is by far the worst snowboarding in any 3D Sonic game, and why is that? Well, remember, in Sonic Adventure 1 or Sonic Adventure 2, it was momentum based, meaning I didn't have to constantly move forward. But here, it's not the case. Here, I have to constantly move forward, and destroying the point of physics, and God, and the fact that I'm constantly moving forward, it is so awkward, so stiff, if to move left and right. Hey, you can go fast, but it's not really recommended. Oh, and here, the camera angles like to change without any sudden warning. Here's a tip. When you get to this segment, let go of the analog stick, because Sonic will carry Sonic will still have some momentum carried. Sonic will still carry momentum through the camera. It'll be enough to carry through the camera transition, and you won't get thrown off by the and get caught into the avalanche. But now that we're in the second part of White Acropolis, this is so open-ended, and this is where the whole obvious statement. This is where Sonic and his friends state the obvious a lot, because like he just said there, this is a pretty cool base. This is a pretty cool place for a base. And I'm like, no, really? And I think this is probably the only stage in the game where I actually make use of the spin dash. I know, crazy, right? I don't know what that blue trail is for. I think if you get enemies caught in the trail, similar to Nights in the Dreams, where if you make a loop and enemies are caught in that, enemies will be destroyed. So of course, we are now back as Tails. Now the problem with Tails is that while he does fly just as fast as and while he doesn't fly as high, when he's tired of flying, he drops like a rock, killing all momentum. It's not so, I don't usually die from it, but it is annoying. Then again, I let go of the A button whenever I reach the peak of, you know, Tails' flying meter. Yes, it is existent, but it's not there in terms of a graphic. Like, the graphic itself is not existent, so I can't really tell if Tails can fly or not. Or at least how much flight time Tails has left.
I'll take it from here.
Also, the ring bombs, they are effective, but I just wish he still had the tail whip attack. Something he should have, like in Adventure 1. But at this point, why Acropolis is so open-ended, there are multiple ways you can get to the gold ring. And just like in Dusty Desert, I can appreciate this level design. Oh yes, and I have to mention the in terms of, I should have said this 2 parts ago, but in terms of the music, you know, Sonic 06 has a legacy for being such a really terrible game to the franchise, being their worst game ever, and yet, the music is friggin' awesome. Like, oh my god, this is actually, in terms of the 3D Sonic games, this is actually my second favorite Sonic soundtrack, next to Sonic Adventure 1. I'm a sucker for because especially when it gets to the orchestral parts later on in the game, it is so good. Like, I'm a sucker when it comes to that stuff. But that is it for part 3, guys. In part 4, this is where shit gets real. Oh yeah, I'm not kidding. And, you know, and this is where a certain plot element comes into play.
You're late.
Well, we had to deal with your little pets.
Where's Elise?
My, aren't we impatient?
Sonic!
You better not move. Now, the Chaos Emerald. Place it there.
Oh no, Team Sonic is suddenly trapped by Dr. Eggman. What a surprise. Man, let's just get this over with.
It's too powerful for you to overcome. Now, allow me to introduce you to my latest creation. This is the Solaris prototype. With this machine, you'll be able to control the flow of time itself. Rest assured, they're not dead. Yet. They've just been teleported by my glorious invention to another time. Who knows where they'll end up? It could be in the distant past or far future. But my machine still requires some fine-tuning. In fact, what my machine needs in order to be complete is your power.
My power?
Yes, I can finally complete my plans, now that I have the Chaos Emeralds and you. The Princess of Soliana. That's all I need to revive the flames of disaster. And with its power, I will be able to control everything and rule the world. So, you would be wise to remain on my good side.
Boy, do I feel dizzy. Where are we?
Oh, look who's here. I didn't expect to see you guys.
Rouge! Shadow!
Hi, long time no see.
This is the distant future, far removed from our own timeline.
The future? Then that means Eggman's machine can control time!
No!
Eggman's got some nerve dropping us here.
Now, how can we get back to our own time?
You need a space-time rift, but this requires a lot of energy. I see. You mean using your chaos control will... Yes, but that alone is insufficient. Okay, Shadow. It looks like we need to work together.